Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the show, and let's get this kicked off with a bang. We're here to talk about Punisher Season 2, Episode 1. All I can say is Frank Castle, the Punisher, is back with a vengeance. And the opening scene Frank covered in blood from head to toe, driving away from whatever form of carnage he's been in or dealt with or had to or he himself created. He's got a mysterious girl in the passenger seat with him. Um, Machine gun fire ensues. Blah blah blah. And it's typical Frank Castle, typical Punisher. Now the episode jumps back, kind of gives you the backstory of what went on. Frank now is known as Pete Castiglione. He's been traveling ever since the end of season 2, where he is kind of given that green card, that get out of jail free, past sins forgiven, for dealing with this group of rogue military men that did unspeakable evil in the name of government. So Pete is on his way. He's driving across country, stops at this bar, Roadhouse. He went in because he heard the music. He got close to a barkeep named Beth, and they hit it off. And you know, Frank, in his what's the best way to put it? His wounded heart. He's still carrying the torch for his loss of his wife and his kids, and rightfully so. Um, Him and the bar lady, they become intimate, and he admits that his name's not really Pete, his name is Frank. Um, but they agreed that they would like to see each other because there's a spark there, and it's nice to see a character such as Frank, who's stereotypically a hard ass, kind of get that moment to actually soften the edges. So he's gonna go, and he gets ready to leave, and Beth has a son. A bit of uncomfortable comedic timing ensues. They all go out to breakfast. She drops him off at the hotel. But the subsequent backstory is also that the mysterious girl that you saw in the opening scene with Frank, she's on the run from something. So, she's kind of shifty. She's made a phone call to a mysterious man in the city. Don't know yet where the city is, but I'm assuming with anything it's probably New York, because that's where all the bad guys seem to congregate. So she breaks into a hotel room just down from Frank at the same hotel. Frank returns to his room. He's going to pack up his stuff because he's going to move on. But something kind of convinces him to stick around and stay. He goes into the bar the next day. Now, the person that you find out at the end of this episode, her name is Rachel. Um, she's called this contact. Like I said, she called the contact. She has supposedly done a job for him, and now she wants payment. But unbeknownst to her, this mysterious figure is with her contact and has beaten him senseless, wanting to know where these photographs are. Don't really know what the whole photographs thing is about yet. Maybe in subsequent episodes they're going to come out and say actually what it is, and I'll talk about those in our next episode. Also, so we go back to the Roadhouse, named Lola's Roadhouse. Band's playing, place is packed. Now Frank, he's talking to Beth behind the bar, and he notices that, the old training kicks in, and he notices guys and girls walking in such a way that an old military guy would understand what's going on, and so his senses go on high alert. Um, Rachel skitters off because okay, she knows something's in the wind. She needs to deal with it. Tries to run. A big fight ensues. Frank pretends to be drunk, coming down looking for uh, his friend, and the biggest battle, like the best fight sequence I've seen so far in season 2. Now, bear in mind, season 1 had some seriously good fight sequences, but this one just wow. It shows Frank hasn't lost a step, even though he's trying to live that quiet life. Chaos ensues. The fight spills out into the roadhouse. Frank is forced to have to take himself to that dark place that he seems to be very comfortable in. Um, Gunfire and his what could have been a love interest gets shot. So now this episode picks up from where we started. They're speeding towards a hospital because Beth has a young son. Um, Frank feels responsible. He's telling her, "Don't die." They're speeding to the hospital. Bad guys box them in. Frank's very animalistic tendency comes out when he's annoyed. He kind of does this, pulls machine pistol, opens fire, gets to the hospital. They wheel her off. He promises that her boy will be fine. Now, things happen that, okay, he says to the girl, Rachel, you've drawn me into this, like, what's going on? Now I'm involved, if they're looking for me, they're looking for you, and you, so let's get this dealt with, let's get this done, and so they're speeding off, because they know if these guys came, more are sure to follow, because like any other stereotypical bad guy, they haven't checked in yet. What's going on? The bad guy shows up. He's yet unnamed, but he's the actor that played AJ Cook's husband on Criminal Minds. And I'll have to get back to you with the name of the actor. But he plays this very creepy Old Testament type preacher man that he speaks in a very biblical sense, and it's kind of an excellent portrayal. He's vicious, but he's also pious. So it's an interesting way to kind of walk that line, and I'm going to be interested to see how in further episodes how he proceeds. But the hunt is on for Frank and this girl. Now, as the episode closes, we find Agent Madani, who in season 1 took a gunshot to the head. Now she's fully recovered, and she's in a hospital, and she's drinking alcohol out of a hip flask, and she's at the foot of someone's bed. As the camera pans down, you see a man strapped into a bed with a secure harness, and he's wearing a mask. And the mask is disfigured. It looks like one of the old plaster masks that have been smashed, and then somehow you managed to glue it back together. I can only assume that this is Billy Russo, that somehow Billy survived the horrendous beating that Frank gave him at the end of the first season, because as she was getting ready to go, she's like, "Sweet dreams." I'm not gonna say the word she used, but she did cuss at him. And as she walks out, camera pans down to his face. His eyes were closed, then they open. So it's what's going to happen there. All in all, I thought for a premiere episode of the new season, it was fantastic. I'm really excited to see what subsequent episodes are going to be like. And on next Monday, we'll talk about episode 2. Again, this is Doug 218. I'm so thankful for you guys for tuning in, and please remember I upload Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Please like this video and please subscribe. And when you subscribe, please hit the notification button so you'll know anytime I upload. So again, here's my recap in my long, drawn, rambling way. But I would suggest and recommend that you guys give a check out to Punisher Season 2. Check out the first episode. Or if you're not familiar with the series, watch Season 1 first, and you'll get a good feel for the pacing and this interpretation of the character. But again, guys, here's my recap of the premiere episode. Have a great rest of your day.